Hello everyone, this is Eugene Blind and this is my Europa Universalis for Beginners guide about the main resources in this game. By main resources I mean those which are shown here in the upper left corner of the screen. We will not speak about money points today because it will be done in the extra video. So, to start, first and as for me one of the most important resources is money, treasury, ducats. Everyone can call it as he or she wishes. So this resource is spent on building your forces, constructing ships, buildings, and many other actions in the game. So here on this tab you can see how you collecting money and how you spend them. So every country have three main sources of money. This is taxation, production and trade. Also if you have some provinces with gold, it can also have a nice boost for money to you. Uh, Tariffs is what your colonial nations pay to you, vassals of this what your vassals pay to you, and so on. So the main source of spending your money is of course your army, also your fleet, and our ways, for example your forts. If you have a lot of them, it can be real costly for you. But the uh, money which you spend on your forts can be reduced by this button, so you will lose all the garrisons there, but here, yes, we can see that you will spend less money on them. So before it can be, usually you can do so in the peace times, when you are not in wars with somebody, but before any wars you should just to push this button, so you have the garrison in your forts and they won't be an easy target for the enemy. So, and here if you have some advisors, as you know, they need some money. State maintenance, also if you have the states which will give you more money as they are able to reduce local autonomy, so they also need some money. And there's colonies, if you are a colonial nation, so the colonial maintenance also needs a lot of money, and so on. So here you can take loan if something would go wrong in your country. Also here is shown your inflation. Here it can be reduced, your development, but it is okay, it's not about money already. So also money can be collected from events as well as can be spent on these events either. The next resource I would like to tell you is manpower. Manpower is your main resources in wars and battles, because manpower is used to construct, hire your forces, 1000 for each kind of forces, for infantry, cavalry and cannons later, as well as to reinforce your casualties during battles. So every country has a base of 10,000 manpower, as you can see here, and all the rest it needs to be gained from your provinces. So it can be shown here. Each point of manpower in province grant you 250 recruits as a base, and all the rest is can be modified by your local modifiers or national manpower modifiers. So as a result you gain some kind of number here. So also the manpower has the manpower recovery speed. If in a simple way it can be counted as your manpower divided by 120, by how many months in 10 years. So you will not gain the exact number, but it will be close to it. So the next resource I would like to tell you is your sailors. It is the equivalent of manpower, but just for sea battles and sea wars. So sailors need to construct your ships. It is shown here which type of ship requires some number of sailors. So unfortunately, countries do not have some base value of recruits, so you can get them only by your coast provinces. It is shown here. You gain your sailors by your your development of your provinces. So each point of development, not the manpower, but the total development, grants you 25 sailors, and all the rest is gained or lost by your modifiers. So the next resource which I would like to tell you is your stability. Stability is a way to show how everything is well or not in your country, inside your country. So when you have the positive stability, here you can see which bonuses you get for 1 point of positive stability. Maximum it can be +3 or -3 if everything will go wrong. So the main way to gain stability is shown here. You may boost it. The base cost of boosting from 0 to +1 is 100, and if you have some modifiers it can be reduced or increased. And after, as you can see here, from +1 to +2, it will already be by 50% cost. It will cost more by 50%. So that's why I don't think it is usually reasonable to boost it by your own for more than +1. So it's better to wait for some events. And yes, events is a second way of increasing or unfortunately decreasing your stability. For example, Catholic kingdoms also can spend their papal influence by boosting their stability. So, as for me, it is far more better to increase it to +2 or even +3 than to spend your admin points, which can be used in far more efficiently. The next resource, if it can be called so, is your corruption. So it is the only, I think, resource which you want to be 0, because it have no positive bonuses, only negative ones. Corruption appears when you have, for example, low religious unity, even 99%, and most likely if you have some unbalanced research. So then some tech is higher than others, even if, for example, the admin tech will be 4 and the diplomatic and military will be 3, you will already get this penalty. It will be just little, but the more difference between these techs, not only this, between the highest and the lowest tech will be, the more corruption increase you will get. The main way to deal with corruption is shown here. It is you will need to spend money on root out corruption. It will cost you a lot of money, so the best way is just to not let the corruption increase at all. So the main negative effects of corruption is that it will increase all the actions which involves your monarch points. So all these actions will cost more, and as well it will occur as some number of local autonomy which can be reduced in every state. Some number. It won't be big for the first time, but the more corruption will be, the more local autonomy will be in all your provinces. This it can be reduced by some other modifiers. So the next resource I would like to tell you is your prestige. Prestige is shows, for example, how strong your country is, or something like that. So it can be gained for some successful action. Most likely it is by winning battles and good peace deals, by when you conquer some provinces and something like that. Also it is can be gained by some modifiers, but most likely they will just reduce the prestige decay. So as you can see, you have as a base 5% decay. So you will lose 5% of your prestige every year. And all the modifiers will just reduce this loss. So and prestige only, and you can gain on prestige by, as I already said, most likely by battles, good peace deals. For example, if you the colony so becomes a fully province, for example, it's also a good way to increase your prestige, and so on. So, and also of course events. Some events they can as well as increase as decrease your prestige. So the next resource is your legitimacy. It is a resource is only about monarchies. So the republics have the opposite resource republic traditions, but they are all about the same. So it is shown how your government is strong, how your current ruler is, if he is strong enough. So it is from it can be from 0 to 100. So at 100 you can see what bonuses you will gain from it, and if it will reduce below 50, so the same bonuses will turn into negative ones. So there is no, as well as the prestige, the prestige is even far more manageable. So legitimacy you can increase it only by some modifiers. It will increase the growth of the legitimacy, and by the same events. So they also can increase and decrease it. As well as during the succession, if your heir has a strong claim on the succession, it will also boost your legitimacy. It will surely increase it really high. The same as if the heir have a weak claim, it will hardly reduce your legitimacy. So and if we will speak about the republic traditions, they have a similar effect, but for example, if they will be low enough, so the republic can turn into monarchy during some period. So and also republic traditions are reduced by when the current ruler is re-elected. So it's also you should keep in mind this. So, and finally the last main resource as for me is the power projection. Power projection shows how good you at fighting your rivals. So not all just fighting any country which borders you or even far away, but only your rivals. So rivals, your rivals you can see here. So it was just a random pick, so it's not the best pick of rivals for France. It was done just for this guide. So you will get power projection only if you will do some action against England, Denmark and Hungary. Only to this country. So if you will fight wars with Burgundy, Brittany, Castile, Aragon and so on, you will get this resource. Only these ones. These ones. So what actions can you take? You can insult them, humiliating after war, take their provinces, issue an embargo. So all the hostile actions against your rivals. Most of them. So it is also counts from 0 to 100. When you will reach 25 power projection, you will be gained free leader without unkeep, and when you reach 50, you will gain an extra +1 monarch point in each category. So it's well, I think one of the powers boosts for this resource. So when you monarch points are also one of the main resources in the game, even the most important, as I think. So and the power projection grants you a quite nice boost for this. So I think I'll tell you all I want about all the main resources also, as I will mention in my opinion in the game. So for example, because religious unity also can be called some kind of important resource in the game, because if you will not manage it, it will can cause you a lot of problems. And some other resources, for example the same army traditions, but as I already mentioned, these resources are far more important in my opinion. So I hope this video was interesting for you, it will be useful for you, and hope to see you in my future guides. So thanks for your attention and goodbye.